So I hope you memorized, everyone, all of you, the 21 Vibhaktis, Vishnu Bhaktis. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
What is- So Smauda Samosha his name Hamles, Nasimyam, Nasasanes. Is that okay? So here is the table for these vibhaktis. So it goes like this. These are the cases, and then cases means like Prathama Vibhakti, Dvitiya Vibhakti, Tritiya Vibhakti, Chaturthi Vibhakti, Panchami Vibhakti, Shashti Vibhakti, Saptami Vibhakti. So these seven are Vibhaktis, and the last one, eighth one is Sambodhana, which is not counted in Vibhaktis originally because it's just the repetition of the Prathama Vibhakti, the Pratyaya wise. So, like that. So we have 21 Vishnu Vibhaktis, sorry, Vishnu Bhaktis, not Vishnu Vibhaktis. And then we have Ekvachana, Dvivachana, Bahuvachana. So I think everyone knows what is meant by all these three terms. Ekvachana means singular, when something singular is indicated. Dvivachana for anything dual, Bahuvachana for anything plural. So Su Aujas, they are indicating Prathama Vibhakti. So Su is indicating Prathama Vibhakti plus Ekvachana. O is indicating Prathama Vibhakti Dvivachana. Jas is indicating Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachana. So, uh, like because this whole chapter is based upon these Vibhaktis, Vishnu Bhaktis. So we'll have some abbreviations for these. So we will say Su as 1.1. Okay, 1.1 because Prathama is 1 and Ekvachana is 1. We'll say O as 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, and likewise till here 7.3. And this will be 8.1, 8.2, 8.3. So when we say 8.5, oh sorry, 8.3, 5.3, 2.3, something. So I will suppose that everyone will be understanding what it will meant by those numbers, just to save time. So like that. So these were the vibhaktis. Tatra jata shangapayatah ushta sohum aserishcha. So now if you see in the chart again, uh, we have letters, but some letters are inside these brackets or parentheses, whatever you say them. So what do they mean? These letters like u here, j, sh, ng, e, pa. So what do they mean? So these letters inside these brackets or parentheses, they are known as indicatory letters. Indicatory letter means they are not actually used when we are forming a word, a final word, but they are just used to indicate something. Indicatory means to indicate something, and so we'll study it. So tatra jata shangapa itah mukshta soham aserishcha. Tatra means kutra, swadau, swadau. In Swadis, jata shangapa itah. Ita means eti gachati na tishtati iti it. What goes or what is deleted, which doesn't stay, is known as it. So all the indicatory letters, they are known as it because when we apply these vibhaktis with the prakriti, then they are naturally removed, these things. So what are those letters? Tatra ja. First of all, ja, ta, sh, nga. So we have four nga here. One, two, three, four. All these. Pa. Tatra jata shangapa itaha. Ushta saho. The u of su, ngase rishta. And the e rama of ngasi. So all these are indicatory letters and they do not stay. So eti gachati na tishtati iti. And it indicatory letter is so named because it goes. Eti. Eti means what goes. Anubandhascha, and some they also say these indicatory letters to be anubandha. Anubandha. Now, someone may ask, so what is the purpose of such indicatory letters? So, such a ucharanartha, to facilitate pronunciation, they are added sometimes. Chihnartha, they are added sometimes to create a distinguishing characteristics. For example, in 1.3 and 2.3, if we remove the indicatory letters, then we have the same pratyas, us and us. But when we add different indicatory letters, for example, we have ja here and sha here, so they create a, create a distinction between the two. So chihnartha. So sometimes to create a distinguishing characteristic, and vidhi adi nimittascha, sometimes it is the cause of the application of a rule or prohibition. So sometimes the rules, the sutras are so made that they are based upon the chinnas that we'll be studying ahead. How do they work? So yeah, like that. So these were the three reasons why the indicator letters are used. First one is ucharanartha, to facilitate pronunciation. Second is mm, chihnartha, to distinguish, yeah, to facilitate distinguishing characteristics. Then vidhi adi nimittah cha, to yeah, to help in application of a particular rule or prohibition. So these, the vritti ahead, beginning from this itas chaite, you can read on your own. So like some things they're really very important in vritti. I'll say mukhya vritti and gauna vritti. I'll just divide it into mukhya vritti and gauna vritti. It's not something officially. I'm just, that's my understanding. So uh, generally I try to cover the whole vrittis, but whenever it's like really gaun vritti, so I suppose that you can study, and of course we'll study the mukhya vritti in class. So yeah, okay, eyes closed test for smooches. You will have to close your eyes and say it out. Ashwin Prabhu.
तत्र नाम्ना सुओजस अमोषस ताप्याम बिस नेप्याम बिस नसिप्याम बिस नस ओस निस ओस सुप.
Lokram Prabhu.
You are on mute.
Namna.
Behind glasses, I don't get to know whether the eyes are closed or it's facing somewhere.
Su ao jas ao shas cha bhyam bis ne bhyam bhyas nasi bhyam bhyas nas os mi os sup.
Yeah, thank you. Vijay Prabhu.
Namnah suaujas amoshash tabhyambis nyabhyambis nyasibhyambis nyasos niyosup.
Yeah, Ujjal Prabhu.
Tatra namnah su aujas aushas tabhyam pis nge bhyam pyas ngasi bhyam pyas ngas os ni os sup.
And Praveen Prabhu.
So I kind of I just got the file today.
Okay, no problem.
I will make sure I'll by tomorrow or coming days I'll catch up.
And who is the seventh devotee by the name P?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. That's me, Pranahari.
Oh, Pranahari Prabhu, Jai. Would you like to tell?
I have to admit I don't have the confidence to recite it accurately at the moment.
Okay, so please do memorize.
Yes, Prabhu.
And yeah, Lokram Prabhu, what is 4.2?
Bhyam.
Ujjwal Prabhu, what is 7.2?
Os.
Ashwin Prabhu, what is 2.3?
Shas.
Yeah, Vijay Prabhu, what is 4.1?
Oh my God. I did not remember. So just Amaushas, Tabhyam Bis, Nyebyam, Nye.
Yeah. So it's like that in the beginning. We have to come from the very start, and yeah, that is Nye. Like that. Okay. Nama Sangesh Chaturvidha. The namas are of four kinds. The nouns, they are of four kinds. Yatha Pullingah Purushottam Sangyah, Strilingo Lakshmi Sangyah, Napunsaklingo Brahma Sangyah, Alingo Avyaya Sangyah. So four kinds are, first one is Pullinga in other grammars, but Jiva Goswami say it as Purushottam Sangyah, Purushottam Linga. Strilinga is another, which is Lakshmi Linga in Harinamamrit. Napunsak Linga is the third one, which is Brahma Linga in Harinamamrit. And the fourth one is Avyaya in all the grammars, including in Harinamamrit. Avyayas. So, Tatra, and because now someone may say, now, why did Jiva Goswami kept the same name Avyaya, which is also used in other systems? So Avyaya is the name of God, we know from Bhagavad Gita. So no problem. Tatra Sarveshwarantaha Purushottama Lingaha. So this chapter is divided into many divisions. First of all, it will deal with those nouns which will be ending in Sarveshwaras or ending with Sarveshwaras. So they are known as Sarveshwaranta. And in those Sarveshwaranta section also there are divisions. So first of all, Sarveshwaranta Purushottam Linga. So the words which end with the Sarveshwaras and which lie in Purushottam Linga. So first of all, that section is there. Then Sarveshwaranta Lakshmi Linga will be there. Then Sarveshwaranta Brahma Linga will be there. Then the second section will start, which will be Vishnu Jananta. The words which will end with a Vishnu Jana. Then Vishnu Jananta Purushottam Linga, Vishnu Jananta Lakshmi Linga, and Vishnu Jananta Brahma Linga. Yeah, this is the format, and then Avyayas will come. So now we start the, I will say 1.1 section, the Sarveshwaranta Purushottam Linga section. So here we begin the very first word, Tatra Aramanta Krishna Shabdaha. So Aramanta. So now, because it's dealing with the words which end with Sarveshwaras, so Jiva Goswami is very systematic, as we know. So he will take the Sarveshwaras in sequence, like then then e, u, and so on. So first of all, Aramanta, a Purushottam Linga word which ends with Aram. So he has taken the word Krishna. In other systems, generally they take Rama or Shiva. But because this is Harinamamrita Vyakaranam, so Krishi Bhur Vachako Shabdo, and what afterwards? And whatever. So Krishna. So Tatra Prathamaika Vachane Krishna Su iti sthite Urama Ucharanartha. Now we'll begin the game. So we are studying Krishna word. So Krishna. So first of all, we have Su. Okay. Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. Now we had read Vishnu Padante, Vishnu Padasya Ante, and so on. So now here comes the definition for Vishnu Pada. That which is formed by the application of a Vishnu Bhakti is called a Vishnu Pada. So I think we discussed about this in last class. Vishnu Bhakti means the Vibhakti, the Pratyas, the Swadis, the Vadis, Ityadis. So when we apply those Vibhaktis, Vishnu Bhaktis with the Mool Prakriti, then the final form which comes is known as Vishnu Pada. What was the Mangalacharan verse for this chapter? Eko Bahunam. Mangalacharan verse. Sarva Namna Tatashreya. Ekaya Ya Eka Sarva Rupanam Sarvanamnam Tathashreya. Tasya Vishnu Padam Sarvam Vishnu Bhaktya Nirupyate. So by Vishnu Bhakti, a Vishnu Pada is attained. The form of a Naam or Dhatu achieved through the application of a Vishnu Bhakti is called Vishnu Pada. So Vishnu Pada doesn't just mean for the Namas. This chapter is Nama Jani, Atha Nama Jani Vishnu Padani. It will be dealing with Vishnu Padas which are made from the Namas. The next chapter will be Atha Dhatu Jani Vishnu Padani. The Vishnu Padas which will be formed from the Dhatus. And it is also known as Pada, only Padas by other systems, especially the Panini. The first sutra, Sara Ramayor Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Padante. I suppose that you are memorizing the sutras, so I'm not asking every day. I'm just supposing. So, Sara Ramayor Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Padante. So, Krishna Yukta Su. So, we apply Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam because this is the Vishnu Bhakti and this is the Prakriti. Prakriti Purva Pratyaya Paraha. So this is Prakriti Purva. Purva means which comes before at the first place, and Pratyaya Para means which comes at the second place. So Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam, then it becomes Krishna's. Okay. Then we apply Sara Rama or Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Padante. Sarama and Rama become Vishnu Sarga when they are at the end of a Vishnu Pada. Again, I'm repeating, Sarama and Rama, they become Vishnu Sarga when they are at the end of a Vishnu Pada. Now, we know what is Vishnu Pada. So this is a Vishnu Pada. And here Sarama lies at the end of a Vishnu Pada. So we apply this sutra, Sararama Vishnu Sarga Vishnu Padante. So it's 155. So I apply this sutra and it becomes Krishna. Krishna. Okay. Quite simple. Then Krishna Yukta Au. Now which Sandhi Sutra should be applied?
Udvaye Ao.
This is Ao.
I mean, it won't work here. There must be some other operation here.
No,
But
there
it
is
would
no.
be Udvaye Ao, right?
It will be only Odvay Au.
Yeah, that's what I said. Udvaye Ao. Ao.
So we apply that sutra, Sandhi Sutra, Odvay Au. See, one thing is that if in this chapter there is some new particular sutra mentioned, to be applied, then first of all, that becomes our priority to accept that sutra first. and then consider the old sutras. But when we don't have any particular new sutra, like in this case, Krishna Yukta O, so then we'll apply the old sutra. So Krishna Yukta O becomes Krishna.
Okay, I
Then-
understand now.
So Krishna Yukta just. Okay, one more thing is, I hope you understood this. We wrote Su here, but okay, I'll write this. Krishna Yukta Sa. So we applied Tatra Jata Shangapaita Mushta Songa Serishta, just to clarify it more. So the remaining was Sa. And then Krishnas and Krishna. Krishna. So same here. So Tatra Jata Shangapaita Mushta Songa Serishta. Now which Sandhi Sutra will be applied?
Shavatara
Shavatara Katmake Milita
Yes.
Trivikramaha.
Yes, Krishnas. And now which sutra will be applied here?
Sararamayor Sarga Vishnu Padante.
Yes. Krishna. Ashwin Prabhu, you are understanding, right? I'm saying this chapter is really nice, and even the Dhatu chapter is really nice. It's really a great fun. At least for me, it is, to study and to form the final forms. Okay, Krishna Yukta Now here comes a new sutra. Dashavatara. So we'll discuss this vritti. This vritti is really very important because if we study this vritti and understand it, then the benefit will be that only by studying the sutra and without even studying their translations, we can get the meaning and catch the meaning of that particular sutra just by reading this vritti. So I'll try to cover this after we finish one or two words. Like we'll finish Krishna and I think we'll finish Hari. Then this vritti will make more sense. So I think 2 or 3 days, then after we'll read this. It's really good actually. So Krishna we did. So it would be good if you can also do the sadhana, the exercise of all these, making of these forms. And it would be good if you can write sutras also each and every time. Because the more you will write, the more it will go sink in your intelligence. So like that. So Krishna Yukta Dashavatara Damshasora Rama Haraha. Dashavatara Damshasora Rama Haraha. When or Shas come after a Dashavatara, now is 2.1, Shas is 2.3. So when they come after a Dashavatara, Dashavatara, their A Rama is deleted. So we have a Dashavatara here, and after it we have So we apply the sutra, which is 156. So we delete the of and the remaining is ma. Okay. Then Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam, we just combine. For combining, we apply Vishnu Bhakti Siddham Vishnu Padam. So Krishnam. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Ityadi. 2.2 is same as 1.2, so it will be Krishnam. 2.3 will be Krishna Yuktashas. So Tatra Jatashangapa Itaha Mushta Samasarishta Krishna Yuktas. Dashavatara Shasor Aramaharaha, again because Shas is there. Now you might say that Prabhu Shah is deleted and it's us. So how we are considering this to be Shas? Then Jiva Goswami says, Ek Desha Vikritam Ananyavat. That even if there is Vikriti, there is some alteration, change at some place, still Ananyavat, it will be considered the same. Did you get it? Ekadesha Vikritam Ananyavat. Ekadesha Vikritam. Ekadesh means Ekasthan Vikritam. And Ananyavat. it's not Anyavat. It doesn't become like other thing. It's Ananyavat. It remains the same. So Krishna Yukta As Dashavatara Damshasora Rama Haraha. So we delete and it becomes Sa. Now we have one more new sutra for this. Dashaavatarasya Trivikrama Shasi Tasmat Sonah Pungsi. So Dashavatara becomes Trivikrama when Shas follows. So now Krishna Yukta Sa. So Shas is following. So this Dashavatara will become Trivikrama. After applying Dashavatara Damshasora Ramaharaha. So it becomes Krishna Yukta Sa. Then it says, after that, after doing that, the Sa of Shas becomes Na, provided the Visha is in the masculine gender, pulling. So Krishna is pulling Shabd. So in that case, this Sa will turn into Na Rama. So it will become Krishna Yukta Na, and then Vishnu Bhakti Siddham, Vishnu Padam, Krishna. Okay. We move ahead or we stop?
I think we can move ahead.
Means I don't have any problem. I can complete the whole word today. Means if it's little complicated for someone who is studying for the first time, then I would like to give some time to digest it. Otherwise, for me it's like a fun. I can complete the whole Krishna word. So
Yeah, I was just wondering, Prabhuji. I mean, yeah, I'm new to this, but what do these vibhaktis represent really? I mean, I'm just trying to comprehend.
okay. Yeah.
See,
Thank you.
but because in English we have the prepositions, so I believe here we are kind of just merging the word and the preposition in the same thing, and we are showing the relationship of the word to something, right? But beyond that, is there a philosophical meaning also to the seven vibhaktis? Is what I was wondering, Prabhuji, if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, this is, I don't know if they say it as prepositions. Vijay Prabhu, Ujjwal Prabhu.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically like in Hindi, even we say vibhakti. So I don't know what do we say it in English. Like in Hindi, ka, ke, ki.
Yeah.
So it's preposition, right?
I don't remember whether it's exactly correct.
Yeah. in
But
English,
anyhow,
of,
if it's
from, etc. From in
Yeah.
the symposium, it's discussed in detail. There's nice notes there in the commentary of Matsyavatar Prabhu and Gopi Pranadhana Prabhu in the document. It's all there. It's good.
Yeah, so the
Okay, Prabhuji. Yeah.
okay. So the prepositions are the sense of prepositions, they are merged in these vibhaktis. Like if we say 2.1, like Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. So in English, if we translate, then it would be, I offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Krishna, the spiritual master of the whole universe. So to Sri Krishna. So in English, we use the preposition to, to. So the sense of to is merged into this Vishnu Bhakti or Vibhakti
Right.
Yeah, so the even in Bengali, actually, the Bengali language, the prepositions, they are merged into the words. Like, for example,
but I'm not sure whether in South Indian languages did they do Vijay Prabhu.
Pranam Korchi. Yeah, so they are, even in Bengali, I have seen mostly they merge it. So, but in Hindi, in English, it's different, the prepositions.
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe I will, if there is a one-to-one English correspondence, maybe I will just look at the table and probably that will give me a better idea, Prabhuji. I'll refer to the notes of what Prabhuji was mentioning. Like you mean to say, Krishna is to Krishna, right? So similarly, I'll just,
It's a little more complicated though, also, right? Because we have the Karaka Prakarana that we're going to come to. Because it's not like you can give a general thing, but it's also not so simple. The bhaktis can represent a lot of different things in different contexts.
Yeah, of course. But just, at an initial point, I'm just mentioning.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
wondering why Karaka is a later chapter rather than before this one, because to understand why these are.
Because, what I understand is that, I'm sorry. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji,
We can hear you. We can hear you, Prabhu.
Yeah, just 1 minute. I think something wrong with the internet. Yeah, so I was telling that the Karakas you're mentioning, that why they are at a later point. So what I understand personally is that first of all we need to know the forms. I also believe that there is a continuous, while forming the forms, the nominal forms, that what does 1.1 mean, what does 2.3 mean, and such curiosity is there. But I think it's Jiva Goswami had considered something, that's why he had put chapter 2 in the beginning and chapter 4 Karaka later. So all respects to Jiva Goswami.
Sure.
Yeah. It's like, even like in the Vedangas, the Shat Vedangas, the student, they are first instructed to memorize stuffs, the shlokas and the meters and everything. This is the first point. Then the second step is they get to know the meanings gradually of everything. So this is the system actually. First we need to memorize things, even if we don't understand them. Then we are supposed to understand the meanings gradually. Yeah, like that. Okay. I don't know if I'll move ahead or not, but I will just do
I
3
think
more.
going forward, we can go a little slower because these are new chapters.
Okay, so I was expecting such a response only. No problem. So we did 6 forms today. So because this is something new, like it's old for me, so for me it could be like something simple. But when someone new comes and study this, so it may seem like something unusual, which will take some time to be digested. So please take your time and we'll move ahead tomorrow and we'll finish this form tomorrow, the Krishna form. Any questions? Okay.
good.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Tadarajastamo Bhavaha Kamalobhadayascha ye Cheta etairana vidham sthitam sattve prasidati tada tada Naishthika Bhakti Udaye, when the Naishthik Bhakti, determined devotion, is arised, at that time, or it could be written like this also. Naishthika Bhakti Udaye Sati. If you have ever noticed this word Sati, so this is known as Sati Saptami, which means having, the sense of having and then so on.
While.
So it's not while, it's like having performed, having Naishtik Bhakti arised. I don't know how to put it in English.
Is it equivalent to the Tumun Pratyaya?
No, Tomon is different. It's like Tomon sense is to do something. For like Kartum. Kartum
Yeah.
means to do.
Oh, sorry.
That is a different. That is,
Sorry, I said it wrongly. It's a not Kita. Kitwa.
No.
Not exactly, actually. Not exactly.
It's,
Not
Twa
exactly.
means
Twa is
that-
little different.
it means
What is-
like successive action, right? Kutwa means like you've done this and now the main verb is happening.
Yeah, we can say that. Like in both, even in Sati and even in Twa, the sense of asamapika kriya is there. Basically, Twa is asamapika kriya. Kriya means a verb, and asamapika means unfinished kriya. Like, for example, if I say, Ujjwal Prabhu read the book and ... So, Ujjwal Prabhu pustakam patitva Gatavan. Ujjwal Prabhu pustakam patitva Gatavan Asit. That after reading the
Read the
book,
book and
Ujjwal
left.
Prabhu went away. Left, he left. But here, Naishtika Bhakti Uday Sati, Sati, then Chetah Sattve Stitam Bhavati. So there is a relation between the second clause or the sentence and the first sentence here in this case.
So both of them are simultaneously happening. Is that?
It's not simultaneously happening. They are happening one by one. That first Naishtik Bhakti is developed, and because of that Naishtik Bhakti which has developed, then there comes a consequence of that thing.
Oh, so there in the.
It's like a cause and effect thing.
I see.
Yeah.
In this one.
But is that?
But in asamapika kriya, twa, and so on, it's not necessarily cause and effect.
It's just successive
thing.
action, but it doesn't necessarily mean the first
Yeah.
action caused it. Whereas in this one, it's actually
Which
because
Ujjwal
this
Prabhu,
thing happened.
Ujjwal Prabhu can, yeah. So Ujjwal Prabhu can also leave without studying the book. You know, it's not necessary that he has to study the book to leave.
So if simultaneous actions are happening, I cannot use this sati at all in that case. Sati Saptami, is that for simultaneous? Let's say.
I thought you can also use it for simultaneous things though, can't you?
Not exactly. Sati means it has been done, it's been performed, and then next comes the next thing. Like Krishna Swadhamopagate, Dharma Jnanadi Vihisaha. So there, Krishna Swadhamopagate is Sati Saptami Prayoga. That after Krishna left for his Swadhama, then what happened? Kali Rayata. Then Kali Yuga came. So it cannot happen simultaneously. Like personally, I've never seen a simultaneous usage of Sati Saptami. If you have seen, then please let me know. Let us know.
I see.
So
I see. Okay.
So Krishna Swadhama Upagate is one. There are many verses like Sati Saptami Prayoga. So Tada Naishtika Bhakti Udaya Sati. So I really like this Sati concept. Sati. Radastamo Bhavaha Ye cha kam lobhadayah. So ye cha kam lobhadayah. Etai anavidham chetah sattve sthitam prasidhati. So when Naishtika Bhakti is developed, then what happens is the kam and lobh ityadi, which are affected from, or which developed from the prabhav of Raja and Tamagun. From Jata means which are born from Raja and Tamagun, from their prabhava. So such kam, lobh, ityadi, they do not disturb The chetah, the manah is anabhibhutam, is not touched by etai, by these kam lobhadai, by them. And then what happens is the man sattve sthitam, the mind, the consciousness is situated in Shuddha Sattva, Turya Avastha, we say, Vasudeva Avastha, or Vasudeva Avastha rather, and Prasidati. And Upashamyati Prasannam Bhavati. It becomes pleased from within. So, like that, Prasidati. Then, when the mind is pleased, see the connection. Prasidati and Evam Prasanna Manaso. So, do you see the connection?
Yes.
Chetah is translated as mana. Even this is my first time I'm noticing this. Chetah prasidati evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogatah bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. That evam purvokta prakarena bhagavad bhakti yogatah prasanna manasah mukta sangasya bhagavad tattva vijnanam jayate. That one who have developed who is enjoined or who is performing Bhagavad Bhakti, Bhagavad Bhajana Prabhavat, from the influence of the devotion to Krishna. And what kind of devotion? Purvokta Prakarana, as mentioned in the previous verses, which was Shravana Kirtana Mukhya Bhajana, as we read in yesterday's shlokas. So when one performs such bhajana, so by such the influence of such bhajan bhakti, what happens is prasanna manasah. The chitta gets prashant, prakrishta rupena shanta iti prashanta. So we say shanti, shanti, prashant, they are all the same. Prashant chittasya ataiva. So when one gets pleased at the bottom of his heart, then what happens is he becomes mukta sangasya. Now, mukta sangasya is kamadi vasana shunyasya sadhakasya. Such a sadhaka becomes rikta, devoid of shunya of kamadi vasana. We know kamadi vasana. And then, when he becomes shunya of kamadi vasana, then bhagavad tattva vijnanam jayate. Then the Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana takes place in his heart. Now, Bhagavataha Tattvasya, the Tattva of Bhagwan, and what is that Tattva? Satchidananda Vigrahatva, Vibhu Chaitanyattvasya Vijnanam. The Vijnana of the Satchidananda Vigraha Bhagwan, we know Satchidananda Vigraha, who is Vibhu Chaitanya Swarup. If you read Baldev Vidyabhushan's Introduction to Bhagavad Gita, he has defined the 5 subjects very shortly and very sweetly. The Ishwar, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal and Karma. So he has described Ishwar as Vibhu Chaitanya and Jiva as Anu Chaitanya and so on. So Vibhu Chaitanya is like a definition for Ishwara. Ishwara. Basically, the words Ishvara, Bhagwan, they are Aishwarya Vachak, Aishwarya Vachak Shabdas. They are not Madhurya Vachak Shabdas. Madhurya Vachak Shabdas are like Radha, Raman, Madan, Mohan, Ityadi. So they imply the opulence part, the majesty of the Lord. So of such a Lord, who is Satchidananda Vigraha, Vibhu Chaitanya, so the Vijnana of that such a Lord, Anubhava Sakshatkara iti, and Vijnana means Anubhava, and Anubhava means Sakshatkara, the realization. So this is Jiva Goswami's. Now see 1.3. This is 1.3. Just now we read. Now you may question that Jiva Goswami is one person, singular. So how come, we are having a plural sense here, plural vibhakti for Jiva Goswami. So we'll study this in Karaka, very beginning in the Karaka, that adharadikye ekvachanam ekvachane bahuvachanam va. Then that when we are supposed to give respect to someone, adhar adhikye, adhik and adhikye, then even ekvachana can become bahuvachana for a single person. And one more interesting sutra comes there just next to that asmadastu agaurve api, that for oneself also, even if there is no respect or adar for oneself, still we can use bahuvachana for oneself. So I really like that one. That's why some people in India, they refer themselves as hum, hum. They do not say main, they say hum.
Even
For just
Prabhupada, when he
Even-
writes English purports, he always refers we instead of
yeah.
Yeah, it's a common English thing also to say we as like a kind of a humble thing, like to not want to say I, you would say we.
So like that. So jayate bhavati.
Prabhu, one question. So, does it mean that if you use a singular term, it means disrespecting or not giving
For
it
oneself or for someone else?
for someone else?
If that someone else is really regardable, and then it is a disrespect.
I see. Okay.
But I've seen in Bengali language, they even say tumi to respectable people, persons. I cannot digest that part. How come they say tumi? like even in Hindi we say up to anyone, But
But what about
and
the
in
word
I'm
tava?
sorry.
What about the word tava? Tava is also not very respectful, or is it
What is tava?
tava? Yours.
Okay, tava.
Oh,
Yeah, means Bhavan in Sanskrit, Bhavan shabd is used for respect. We say Bhavan, Bhishmascha, Karanascha, ityadi. And Tava is Tvam in 1.1. So Tvam is like when there is informal, communication, when it's between friends, like that. Like Tumi Amisam, like CC, if you read Tumi Kon Badalok, Tumi Amisam. So they're the cowherd friends, they are talking to Krishna. So they have informal behavior, informal Vishramba Sakhya. So it seems okay there. So Tava is Tava Kathamritam. The gopis, they are really, their relation is intense. Vishrambha, Atmiya with Krishna. So for them it's okay. But respect means Bhavan in Sanskrit, generally. Bhavan.
I see. So because in Bhagavad Gita he uses both Bhavan Bhishma is one example you gave, and then other places Tavarjuna he uses.
Tavarjuna. So yeah, depends on the mood of who's speaking.
I see.
If he's quite rude and angry, he will use tava and forms like that. And if he's happy, jolly mood, he'll use bhavan and so on. So yeah.
One more question. So is it the same case with you use the Madhyama Purusha? What if you use the same thing? Is it the same when you are using the verbs?
Like
Tom Asi, instead of saying, you have to use Bhavan Asti. Is that more
yeah,
respect?
means it
I
makes
see.
sense. Means when we study verbs, then we'll get that. Even in verbs, we have vachanas, and
Right.
then we have the purushas, pratham purusha, madhyam purush, and uttam purush. In English, it's first person, second person, and third person. So we'll have that in dhatu, in akhyat prakarana. Okay.
sorry, Puji, can I ask a quick philosophical question, if that is okay?
Yes. I'll
Or
try to.
maybe we can take it tomorrow. So, Puji, I just was curious to know what is your understanding of the difference between, say, manas and chitta, Prabhuji, because and buddhi. Is it used interchangeably, or because so essentially what I'm asking is, what is the difference between atma and the four antahkaranas that we know of? The mind, chitta, buddhi, and ahankar.
Okay, so I'll just tell what I have read and what my understanding is. Sankalp vikalp atmakah manah. The mind is defined as sankalp vikalpatmakah manah. Mind is an entity or is a thing which can do sankalpa and vikalpa. I like this, so I want this. I don't like this, so I don't want this. So sankalpa vikalpa atmakah manah. Then buddhi is nishchayatmika buddhi. Nishchayatmika buddhi means the buddhi takes the final decisions. It's a decision, decision taking part. So now one understanding of all these antakaranas you're asking is that they are all the same, but it's just the difference of the functions. For example, if you read second or third canto of Bhagavatam,
Yeah.
ahankar plus ignorance, ahankar plus passion, mode of passion, result in mind, if I'm not wrong. Then ahankar plus satogun result in buddhi.
I think Sattvagun.
I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, means I might be. So it's something like that. Ahankar plus satogun is equal to this. Ahankar plus rajogun is equal to that. So basically, it's ahankar only. But when it comes in contact with different modes, so it takes a particular form with a particular function. Means this is what I.
This is also mentioned in the, I believe, third canto, that they are one entity with the different functions.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say here also.
I can find the verse and share it in the group.
Yeah, you can. It will be nice. Like for example, this is a mobile phone. So like it's one thing, but it can do many things. It can call. Means we can call through the mobile phone. It can act as what do you say? Weightage? No. Use as a weight upon some papers.
Paperweight.
Paperweights. The paperweight. It can be used to hit someone. As an astra also. So it's the same stuff, same thing, but it can act in many ways variegatedly. So like that, I understand as Lokram Prabhu also authorized from Bhagavatam that it's one entity, but the functions are different. So Lokram Prabhu, it would be good if you can check out the reference and share it in the group. So this is what I understand.
Thank you.
So, and also the definitions I mentioned, Nishchayatmika Buddhi and Sankalpa Vikalpatmaka Manah. So I read it in one Vedanta Shastra, which is also quoted by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in some of his commentary to Srimad Bhagavatam. So like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any other last thing by anyone? Okay.
So if nobody has question, I have two more questions, if it's okay.
Yeah.
So here the word evam is used. So that means in this way, right? Here.
Okay.
Is that meant in this way? Evam.
Yeah, in this way, in this manner.
Okay. And atayeva. So what is that? Atayeva.
Atayeva means therefore. Basically, it means therefore.
Oh, therefore. Okay. Atahayeva.
Yeah, like when one becomes Prashant Chitta, therefore he becomes Mukta Sangha.
I see. Okay.
Or in this sense, it can be then, depends.
Okay.
But generally, it's therefore. Atahayeva.
I see. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Prabhuji, is there a difference between Atma and Chitta? Like, like say Chetana, the consciousness and Chitta, or are they two different things? I don't know whether we can ask whether, say like that, whether if there is a difference between soul and Chitta. That's why I'm asking, is there a difference between consciousness and Chitta?
Means Prabhupada very clearly explained this in 2.13, I think. Dehi nosmi yatha dehi. I think that one only, that it's like the sun and the sunshine. That sun is situated in one place and the sunshine comes out, emits, sun emits the sunshine and it spreads all over. It's all pervasive. Similarly, Atma is the source of consciousness. So Atma is the source of consciousness. We have to understand that. Atma is the source of consciousness. So from Atma, Atma emits the consciousness. We can say like that. So, so Atma, consciousness is the property of Atma, because Atma, from Atma comes out thing, Chetana. So this is, Prabhupada is very clear about this in second chapter, 2.13, 14, 15. You can check out those verses. Or even the next one. I don't know exactly which verse is that, but it's between Shloka 10 to 20 in that purport only somewhere.
If we're going with the same section of the Bhagavatam where Kapila Dev is describing Ahankar, Buddhi, and Manas, then he describes Chitta as the Mahat Tattva, which is the aggregate, which is like a lens basically that the jivas are looking through. So it's a material element that's composed of Sattva Gun, and then Ahankar comes after that. So that Chitta is material Chitta. It's not the consciousness of the living entity, and the living entity is simply expressing his Gatritva through that Chitta, as far as I understand from Kapila Dev's.
Please repeat.
So Chitta is a material element. It's the Mahat Tattva, which each living entity is looking through kind of like a lens, and then he becomes attracted through the interface of the Chitta to a false ego, and then through that false ego, the Buddhi and Manas, he has his individual Buddhi and Manas. But this Chitta that Kapila Dev is speaking about is not the Atma. The Atma is expressing his inherent potency of Gyatritva, or knowership, or the capacity to know and cognize things through the Chitta, but the Chitta is not the Atma, according to Kapila Dev and Sankhya.
Yeah. Even if we see the word Chit and Chitta, so we know Sat, Chit, and Ananda. So Chit means the cognitive potency, the faculty of cognition. And from that thing, the word Chitta has come up. So Chitta means, as Ujjwal Prabhu is describing, so Chitta has come up from the word Chit, to know. So yeah, like Ujjwal Prabhu is explaining. Even there is a Varnan by Baldev Vidyabhushan in introduction to his Bhagavad Gita. Like he said about the Shuddha Chitta and the contaminated Chitta. Similarly, there is Shuddha Ahankar and contaminated Ahankar.
Yes.
So it's by Baldev Vidyabhushan in introduction to Bhagavad Gita, that now it's Maleen Ahankar, it's Ashuddha Ahankar, which we are all carrying and looking from its lens. But Krishna also and his pure devotees also, they have got Ahankar, but that's Shuddha Ahankar. And actually that Ahankar of the individual people, the liberated people, Krishna, the God, that Ahankar, that Shuddha Ahankar indicates the individuality of all those people, that is also one point. So this is Baldev Vidyabhushan explaining in 1.1 in introduction to Gita. Very nice point actually. That the Shuddha Ahankar indicates the individuality of the Jivas and even of the Bhagavad Tattvas. They are not one. So like that, there's a lot of discussion about that.
This is very nicely brought out in the middle section of Paramatma Sandarbha, in the Jiva Tattva section. It's very nicely put there. Jiva Goswami says, actually, the fact that there's a false ahankar, there's this, what we're calling the ahankar, it proves that there is, what he says is the aham artha, a real one that is intrinsic to every jiva, because there must be something for the false ahankar to kind of come over like a glove. Yeah, it has to wrap itself around. Otherwise, you couldn't have somebody with, if there wasn't an intrinsic sense of self, then there couldn't be a false one.
Means even to exercise the false ego, we need some substance, which is the real ego.
Yes.
So, so all of our false egos basically is based upon the real ego, as does the anarthas even, do the anarthas even. The karma is so strong, Bhakti Dheer Damodar Maharaj was explaining in one of his lectures, very nice point, that karma, lust is the strongest enemy in this world. Why it is the strongest? Means where did it get the power from? That, because lust is the perverted form of pure love of Godhead. And because our love to God, to Krishna, is the most powerful thing, emotion which we, the jivas, possess. That's why the same powerful potential love, when gets perverted into this material world, the potency remains the same, but the feature, the nature, the attributes, the property gets converted, perverted, and it becomes lust. That's why it's the strongest. Very nice point, actually. So similarly, our real ego is so strong that we are Krishna's servant, that now the potential is there, but the direction has gone up. It's like it's misdirected. So yeah. Okay.
Yes.
I hope it was.
Yeah,
understood.
sorry for that trivial question, but I think the discussion was quite good, Prabhuji. Got the directions.
Thank you. So we'll see you tomorrow, all. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Local Prabhu.
Yes,
So I think we have started creating that.
yeah, I'll share the
Yeah.
link on the group chat, so you can see how I'm
Mhm.
formatting it. And if there's any adjustments that should be made, you can let me know what, in terms of the format and so on.
Sure.
Anything. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.